For this month's Sexuality Spotlight, we are talking about anal for Anal April. I'm going to share some really high-level information here just to get the ball rolling for you. I have a full 4-part program that I've talked about in depth about anal, but I just wanted to give some highlights, some high-level info for everybody here, for those of you wanting to explore it or have questions. I myself had attempted anal when I was younger and then tried it again and again with different partners throughout my sexual history, and time again it was either uncomfortable or super painful. And so I kind of gave up on it. I thought maybe people were like acting, that was saying that they enjoyed it, faking it. I really just thought, like, how the hell could this ever be possible or pleasurable? And then I was giving myself an enema back in the day when I gave myself enemas. And I think it was a combination of low expectation, a lot of stimulation of my anus, of all of the nerves around my anus, low pressure, and time, where I ended up feeling an incredible amount of pleasure, and like a buildup of pleasure that felt like a huge orgasm in my anus. And so that kind of just like showed me that anal pleasure is totally a thing. So I then began to explore on my own because the pleasure was like incredibly intense and delicious, and I wanted more of it. And the more I found that I gave time and attention to this part of my body, the more and more pleasure and the more comfortable with it I was, and the more I learned what didn't feel good, what did feel good, what it took for things to feel good. So yeah, that's my success story, my anal pleasure success story. And so that's one of the things I wanted to sort of highlight here in this video is that I really think that it's important to set up the space to explore anal pleasure without expectation. I think that that is key, because if we're in our head, we're tensing our bodies, we're expecting pain or discomfort, then that's going to be a recipe for disaster. So I really recommend people to create a space where it's like, okay, cool, we're just getting curious with sensation and going incredibly slowly. And to do so safely, I really recommend to have short nails. If you're using any kind of pleasure tool, make sure it's flared on the end. And I also recommend to use like vibrating pleasure tools, or to do combined pleasure with clitoral stimulation and anal stimulation. And to make sure you use a lot of lube. The anus is not self-lubricating, so a lot of lubrication is needed. I like using oil. I've also used silicone-based lubes. These have pros and cons. Oil you can't use with condoms. Silicone you can't use with silicone-based toys. But yeah, water dries up quickly, I've found. And silicone gets really warm quickly. So those are just some sort of things to be mindful of. And yeah, the other piece I think is just being with the body and listening to the body and waiting until it's relaxed before going any further into anything. And yeah, just being present with the sensation that's present and breathing into that sensation, because the nerves are going to respond differently to this part of the body than other parts of the genitals that you have like stimulated in the past. It's a new neural pathway of pleasure. You might have experienced like a poogasm before. That is close to what can be felt with the right amount of time and stimulation and preparation. And yeah, just going incredibly slowly. The anus is a sphincter that relaxes, and there are actually two. So there's one at the entrance and then one just inside. So the entrance usually tends to relax first, and then the inside will relax as well. I wouldn't push anything through the anus unless it is already softening and relaxing and opening, and that usually happens when we're incredibly aroused and ready for penetration. And yeah, this looks a little bit differently for male and female bodied people. Accessing the G spot or the G zone for male bodied people is through the anus. indirectly, that the same is true for female bodied people, pushing up against the anterior wall, pushing sort of in that direction. But it is, incredibly pleasurable for all bodies. And if you explore this on your own, I think this also is a really great way to access a new experience of pleasure, especially in a part of the body that can make us feel really vulnerable. And so I think that was like another key for me when I experienced it for the first time. It was on my own, and so I could fully just be, I was doing an enema, so things were just coming out anyways. Like I wasn't worried about mess, and I also didn't have like the whatever pressure that might be there from having a partner there. So I really think exploration on our own, when trying new things where there could be some vulnerability, or even just like a sense of any kind of pressure or performance, or just being aware that somebody else is in the room. So self-exploration, I think, is really key. If you're worried about any kind of mess, then there can be like a little bit of douching you can do before. Having it like a full-blown enema could be a little bit risky because some like liquid fluid could still be inside of the anus. Using a splash blanket. And I think that's a really good like peace of mind tool that we can do. And using gloves, I think with anal play, just for peace of mind, bringing out different types of barrier methods can be really helpful. Using gloves, using condoms, dental dams as well. All of these things can help us to keep us like hygienic and also just like peace of mind. So that's everything I'm going to share with you all today on getting into anal play, some things to be aware of exploring on your own. If you want to do my full 4-part program, I first recorded it on my own, and then I re-recorded it with Jessie with a male body perspective, a penis haver perspective. And it was really fun to share with them because Jessie is an absolute butt slut as well. And that was really incredible, actually, being able to share this with them. I met them not long after I experienced my own anal pleasure. So that was like, I was really lucky for that because it meant that I was with somebody that knows what's needed to prepare and is all about it as well. And they were really good at pleasuring my anus. So that's another sort of thing when you are going to bring it into the relationship, just making sure that everybody's aware of what's involved and what it means. And I think everyone has a butthole, so why not everybody experience it and explore it? I think it's actually really great for penis havers that are with vulva havers to experience what it means to be penetrated. I think it makes for more patient, more dedicated lovers. All right, I'll leave it there. Much love to you all. Ciao.